What if the key to prosperity isn't working harder, but building something that works for you? My guest today has done exactly that, and I'll be right back to give an introduction.
Here we go! Nicole Johnson, Nicole Johnson, Nicole Johnson. Let's go! Here we go!
Yes, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I am bringing to the stage the one and the absolute only Kat, the course builder. I am so excited to have her here because when they say you remember your first, Kat was one of my very first business coaches. And so I have a long-standing love for her. When you can say that your coach has now become your friend. I am super excited that we have arrived at that level. Kat Dunn, aka Kat the Course Builder. Welcome to the show. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hi,
Hey.
Nicole. I am so happy to be here.
Listen, none other than the Kat the Course Builder is joining me for Prosperity Conversations. And I just want you guys to know she is an absolute dynamic business strategist and course creation expert. When I say an expert, things I learned from her more than 10 years ago are still working for me today. They are still working for me today. And Kat has helped entrepreneurs all over the world turn their knowledge into thriving and scalable businesses. And she's been doing this since 2015. And her team have nearly launched nearly 17,000 courses. Can y'all how many that's a lot of fingers to count all of those courses, but not only here but across 5 countries and 3 continents, helping clients generate over $18 million in additional income. But guess what, you guys, what I love about Kat is that her work isn't just about teaching you how to build a course. You can actually learn that somewhere on Google, okay? But Kat goes into helping you build a business around your course, one that's designed for consistent passive revenue. And didn't I just say long term? Absolute long term success. So, Kat, welcome to Prosperity Conversations. How are you today, ma'am?
And fantastic. And I'm so happy and proud to be here. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else, except maybe in my bed. But other than that, I wouldn't be anywhere else.
Listen, thank you so much for giving up some time with me today. And I truly appreciate it. And listen, for those of you who are watching, grab your pen, grab your paper, because not only am I going to be dropping some nuggets, but I got pen and paper myself. Because anytime I get in the room with Kat, there are nuggets to be remembered and recorded. And this is very important for me, as the Prosperity Conversations is a new series that I've started because I want to help continue to build our platform for people to understand prosperity is about a state of mind. And sometimes we can be so stuck within ourselves that we don't know how to get unstuck. And so, Kat, I want to talk to you, and we're going to start right there. What does the word prosperity mean to you?
To me, prosperity means state of being, a way of living, a way that supports a thriving lifestyle that reflects what it is you want for yourself and your life. And it's more of an ongoing dynamic state of being. It's not a place that you arrive, it's a place where you thrive, it's a place where you grow, it's a place. So when you prosper, it's an action word. It's not necessarily, I don't think in terms of prosperity necessarily the noun. I think in terms of prospering, the ability to prosper, the ability to grow and thrive where you are.
I love it. I love it because thriving where we are, people seem to think that when they arrive at a different level, when they arrive at a different place, now they can be or are prosperous. But understanding sometimes we can be prosperous right where we are because prosperity looks different. It's not always about a dollar. I thank you
Mhm.
for that. So let me ask you this. Can you take us back to a time where you didn't always feel like you were prosperous or that there was prosperity in your existence? And what shifted for you?
Yeah, so I can tell you that as someone who's, been full time in their business for about 11 years now, almost 11 years now, there have been many ups, many downs. I've made a lot of money. I've lost a lot of money. I've been at the highest and I've been at my lowest. And I've had to, come back from the lows and learn from the highs. Uh, and so it's been a process. And so during those times, we'll talk, I guess, about the low points, right? Because
Mhm.
a lot of times people don't see sorry about that. People don't really see the low points necessarily. A lot of times people only see the high points. And when you only see the high points, you don't really see, how people come out of those kind of those situations. And so low points for me personally was me feeling like my business wasn't thriving the way I was used to it thriving. I belong to a demographic of people, women more specifically, who really thrive on excellence. We
Mhm.
don't really know how to be any other way.
Mhm.
Um, even to our detriment. So if we perceive that something is not going right or the way we wanted or intended, like something's not wrong in the world. Like everything needs to stop until we get this thing
Right.
right, right? And so for me, I took it very personally when I felt like things weren't going right, or if I felt like I didn't have the answers, or if I felt like everything I was trying wasn't working and I didn't understand why, because to that point, everything had been working well. So, how is it that things cannot be working well? During that time, I didn't understand it. And for the first time in some years, I didn't have all the answers. I
Mhm.
didn't feel like I did. I didn't feel like I could help myself. I didn't feel like I knew what to do. And I had built this enterprise, and I had all these people depending on me and looking at me for the answers, and I'm like, I don't know. You tell me, right? And so that was a time that was very, very, very difficult for me, to the point where I didn't even want to get out of the bed. I didn't want to move. I didn't want to do anything. And I've never really been like that, because I've always been, go, go, go get her, go do it. And I was at a place where I was just looking around saying, what do I do next? What do I do? I would get my daughter off to school and
Mhm.
then see my husband off to work and go get back into bed.
Mm.
I would be up before either one of them got home so that they wouldn't be like, have you been in bed all day? So I
Right.
literally would get up just before they were getting home. Number one, I didn't want them to worry about me.
Mhm.
Number two, I didn't want to bring them in on that.
Right.
I maybe that's for the right or the wrong, but that's what I chose at that time. And it got to a point where I just said, Lord, you're going to have to tell me what to do. I don't have the answers. I've tried this, I've tried that. I did this, I did that. I did all the things, and it's not working. What am I doing wrong?
Yeah.
And Honest to goodness, God said to me, do what you do. Do what I do. That don't make no sense. That doesn't make any sense. And at that point, Nicole, I had been weeks without going into my office. And if
Mhm.
anybody knows me, they know that that is really unheard of.
Very much so.
Yes. Most people don't even know that, but that I went weeks where I didn't even turn on the light in there. I
Mm.
would only turn it on periodically so that my husband wouldn't worry,
Hmm.
but I wouldn't go in
Right.
because I felt like I didn't have the answers. And so when God said to me, "Do what you do," I was like, "I don't even know what I do anymore. I
Mhm.
don't I don't do anything anymore right now because I don't know what to do." And he reminded me of something that I say all the time. And Nicole, you will recognize this. He reminded me that clarity comes in the doing. If you want to get clear, you have to do. And I'm saying, I don't know what to do. And he says, you don't need to know what to do, just do. I didn't understand it, and it was really starting to piss me off, to be honest with you. So, but I know, but I know better than to ignore Big Daddy. Okay.
That's right. That's right.
So, so I got up, I went to my office, I turned on the light, I turned on the computer, and with a pretty big attitude was like, now what? I did that. Now what? Do what I do, and clarity comes in doing, and all this crap. What now?
Hmm.
And he took me back to when I was just getting started and what motivated me and what brought me to that point. And it was to help people. And God said, that is what you do.
Yeah.
So I found a way to help people. I picked up the phone. I just made random calls to people on my list. I said, "Hey, how you doing? It's Kat," and they were like, "The course builder." I said, "Yes, I'm just checking in on you to see how you're doing and how you coming with your course." And I did one of those that day, and then I did a couple more the next day, and then I sent out an email, and then I did some other things. I wasn't quite ready to go live or anything like that, but I
Mhm.
was ready to help people if I could.
Right.
And that helped me to come out of the depression that I was feeling, the
Mhm.
foggy lack of clarity, because as I talked to them, I listened and I heard them and I said, "Oh, that's why they weren't opening that email. That's why when I put that out, they didn't respond to it. That's why they clicked but didn't buy. That's why when I had this, they didn't come. That's why I wasn't quite hitting the mark. I wasn't quite. So all of that started helping me to put one plus one plus one plus one together
Mhm.
until one day it started clicking for me, and I continue to do. And I said, if I can just put one foot in front of the other and not stop doing and not stop serving and not stop, the progress and of what I built from yesterday, I can get closer to the answers.
Yeah.
And I did. And that's how I know that's a long way around it, but that's
But
how I came.
you hit on so many different points because you touched on the lows, right? The depression, the isolation, the loneliness, the shame, the guilt, the embarrassment, the things that
Mhm.
hold us back and keep
Mhm.
us from moving forward. But
Mhm.
then you also touched on the what do we do to start coming up out of it? Because see, when we hit the low, because lows are gonna come, it's not about how it
Mhm.
comes, it's about how we react. and how
Right.
do we, what things do we do and steps do we take? Who do we reach out to, right? And so sometimes we don't have anybody to reach out to. We can't do nothing but talk to the man upstairs. And then sometimes you have people in your community, in your circle, that will reach out. Because I remember a time. I remember a time.
Yeah.
I got that phone call talking about some ma'am, where you at? What you doing? I was like, oh no, cat, I'm fine. You was a lie. And I was so far down. I was so far down, but you knew that I had not been showing up like I was supposed to. A lot of like
Mhm.
how you taught me to. So you
Yeah.
came looking for me.
Mhm.
And it was the hardest thing. I'll never forget. It was Mother's Day weekend. It was Mother's Day
Mhm.
weekend. And I was like, Kat, this is what happened. And I'm scared. And I can't let them see me fail. You was like, when don't fail. I was like,
Mhm.
just like just like that. And she said, well, don't fail. It
Right.
one of the sentences. It's almost the same of do what you do. Don't
Right.
fail. Ma'am, like that. And so and she said, you told me I had one day to finish my pity party. That was that Saturday before Mother's Day. You gave me the rest of the weekend. Monday, get your tail back up and get going. And I
Mhm.
believe that's when you started saying the clarity comes in the doing. And
Mm.
so it was okay. And I like what you said that you had to start over. There is magic in starting over because you don't start over in the same place. You start over with the new lesson that you learned from the experience.
That's right.
So, and I love that for you. I love that for me. I love that for us, right? So, Kat, one time, and I'm a circle all the way back. I was in one of your classes, and there was a
Mhm.
lady. I do not remember her name, but I could hear her voice just like she's sitting here now. And she said,
Mm.
entrepreneurship is so lonely.
Mm.
And she didn't even have her camera on, but you could hear the pain in her voice. So I'm going to ask you if there was somebody that's watching right now and they're
Mhm.
saying, I can't come back to where Kat is saying I can get to. I can't do that. I'm stuck. What would you say to them right now?
Well, I would say that being stuck is part of the process. Okay. So if you're feeling stuck, okay, you're right where you're supposed to be. Okay, be okay with that. It's just not okay to stay there.
Yeah.
But sometimes we have to be in that stuck place to learn, to slow down, and sometimes even to stop and
Mm,
evaluate. Okay, so the stuck place is not a bad place. It's just not a place you want to stay.
right.
Okay, learn, grow, analyze, and then pick yourself up and go. Now, in terms of entrepreneurship being lonely, I mean, we came in this world alone, we're going to go out alone.
Say what now? Say it again for the ones in the back.
Okay. Okay. And we got to be start being okay with being by ourselves and growing in our solitude. Okay. Now,
Yeah.
that doesn't mean that you isolate yourself to the point where you don't have any community around you. I'm not saying that. But when your community, when you turn off the Zoom camera and when you go home, it's just you and that daggone computer at the end of
Mhm.
the day.
Yeah.
You got to be okay with that. And guess what? Big Daddy done found a way for us not to even have to be alone in that because Uncle Chatty now, okay, you don't have nobody to talk to. Turn on Uncle Chatty now, and he'll talk to you all night long. Okay, as
He sure
long
does.
as you
He be
got
like, niece, I got you. I be like, okay then,
okay, as long as you got them good old unlimited minutes,
huh?
you good. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, and I thank you for sharing that. So for those of you who are listening, I hope that you understand prosperity is not always about money. Okay, it's not always. Now it don't hurt. Don't get me wrong. Don't get it twisted up here. But it's not always that. So, Kat, years later, beyond from the days of Periscope.
Mhm,
Woo, yeah, that didn't take us all the way back from the days of Periscope to
mhm,
Facebook to all the different mediums that are out there now. When
mhm.
somebody says, "Kat, what does prosperity look and feel like for you today?" How do you answer that?
Hmm. Today, as opposed to back in Periscope days,
Or anywhere along your journey?
well, it definitely looks like opportunities that I wouldn't have had otherwise had I not pursued my entrepreneurial pursuits. That means being able to travel with my daughter and my family, and traveling around the world, and staying for as long as I want and doing what I want. And it means being able to make some really important health decisions that I've been able to make for myself.
Yeah,
I've been able to, because of that, I was able to get my weight under control. I was able to get a mommy makeover, which I had been wanting to do for a long time. And I didn't, it wasn't something that I had to make a big decision about. They said it was going to be, 30 grand. And I went to the bank and got a big bag of money and plopped it on the desk and said, "Fix it, Jesus." Okay. And I was able to do that. And
yeah,
I'm grateful for that I was able to even do that, and so prosperity means being able to make lifestyle choices, life decisions, so that I can live the life I want to live at my big age of 55, um and yeah, so that's how it looks different now. Okay, back then I was still growing as a business owner. I'm always growing as a business owner, but then I was really growing as a business owner. I was really understanding what it meant to grow community and be in community, and I was coming out of the corporate world, and I was, just trying to navigate those feelings, going from the security, so to speak, of corporate to the uncertainty of entrepreneurship. What all did it mean? I didn't understand all that stuff. I had never used PayPal and Stripe and all that. I didn't know what I didn't know what any of that stuff was. I knew
right.
instructional design. That's what I knew. I didn't know all this other stuff.
And I love it. And so, just a little back peek into your travel. I remember
Mhm.
early on in my program, Kat spent the summer in Europe. She was the first one as a black woman who looked like me talking about some, oh, our au pair. I said, what? You leaving your child with some fruit? What? I'd only seen that on TV, but it was something to thrive for or to strive for, right? Whether I go around traipsing around Europe or Italy or Dubai or wherever in the world I chose to hit on the globe, I now
Mhm.
understood that as an entrepreneur, it was doable. It was doable. And so just like in the days when Barack Obama was our president, he's still mine. I don't know about y'all, but he's
Mine
still
too,
mine.
forever.
He said forever. When that little boy, when he kneeled down and let him rub the top of his head, so that young man at that tender age of however old, 7, 8, 6, 7, 8 years old, would understand that someone who looked just like him could be the president of the United States. And I love the fact that when that young man graduated from high school and was headed off to college, Barack brought him back so they could
Mm,
meet him again as an adult. And so I thank you for sharing that part, because one of the things that I know as an entrepreneur is that a lot of people don't talk about the lows. They don't talk about the ugly part of entrepreneurship. And that is really what these conversations are designed to do, is to share that people who look like us, right? We may have been down, we're never out. Okay. And what we can do is help each other learn so that we can all come up together, right? We can all come up together. And so I am going to put a little bit of information out there as to where the people can find you. One of the places I always look is on Facebook inside of Kat's beautiful community, where she's in there. It's a lot of teaching, a lot of learning, but it's also a lot of networking, a lot of growing. And then on her Facebook page, Cat the Course Builder, honey, she is consistent and congruent across all platforms. I learned that. And I also learned that as one who is continuously learning new things, can't tell the people one little thing that you're doing that's kind of new, where they can go and find over there in the Teach 1 Million group. You want to tell them?
well, if you're talking about the AI stuff, are you talking about that?
Kat is in the midst of being the modern day Jetson. That's all I gotta say. She can tell you as much or as little, because when I said, "Hey, Kat, can you teach me how to clone myself?" She said, "Come on in the room." Go
Yeah, I'm super excited about how we've been leaning into artificial intelligence as it relates to learning and development, course building, creating professional level training that can be licensed to businesses, schools, and nonprofits. And so, AI has been around for actually a long time in the learning and development space. It's just that it hasn't been available in this way and with this level of accessibility and affordability. And so I'm super excited about helping my community to understand how they can leverage the power of AI to create better better courses. So we want to go beyond just whatever you threw in there in 2022 and 2021 that's sitting over there getting dusty in Teachable somewhere, or Go High Level somewhere, or Padilla, or all the places, all the things, right? All these haunted houses. We just had Halloween. They over there, dusty and
look, get your
cobwebs and
course out
everything.
of the Halloween course book, okay?
Get it out of them haunted houses. Scary over there. So we want to level up those programs, level up those courses. Why is that important? It's important because the marketplace is demanding better courses and programs. And that comes directly as a result of what happened during COVID. Uh, People rushed to the internet to try to make money because that's where people were going. And so as a result, people threw courses together, they put them out there, and they put out a bunch of garbage. And the marketplace responded by saying, I'm not going to go for this anymore. Okay. And companies didn't go for it. Consumers aren't going for it. And you can tell that by the way they're not buying, courses that they feel like are not worth the money, or they feel like were cheaply made. Somebody just threw it in AI, and now they're going to put a big price tag on it. And the consumer is already hip to the game. They already done figured it out. So, that's the jig is up. And so now you have to actually produce something that is of quality.
I love it. I love it. And as she said, make sure your course is no longer with the Fatal 48. I'm not even going to tell you how many times she has stepped on my toes with that. But that's okay. I am here in the AI course building arena, she's not doing all things AI, right? And that's what I love. Sometimes you go see a primary care physician who can take care of a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but she is operating as a specialty. She's a specialist where you are helping them use AI to make their course content better. It's going to help
Correct.
you stand out in the marketplace. And I absolutely love it because I'm over there sucking it all up. Okay. Now
All
you better
right.
get you one of those. You better get you one of those. Well, Kat, thank you so much for being here with me, for sharing this part of your world with us. And to the audience, I just want to say you just heard another prosperity conversation where we're redefining what it means to live wealthy in every sense of the word. If this inspired you, I want you to be on the lookout for more prosperity conversations, as well as our April Prosperity Summit, where we're curating 100 plus voices, walking in purposes, and we will be sharing stories of progress and prosperity. I am the Nicole Johnson, and I am reminding you that prosperity isn't something you chase. It is something that you choose. And I can't wait to see you guys for our next conversation, our next prosperity conversation. Make sure you're tuned in. Have an amazing day.
Nicole Johnson.